Hey, Rissa. You can let people know. I wrote your chat. If they can't make it in their favorite, they can watch it. But if you want to live stream on YouTube, it's streaming live right now. Just, yeah, so just YouTube. On camera? It's in there. YouTube.com/. Just like, you find your rabbit? Why would I find my phone? Losing your phone, no point of losing your phone. It's just a way to go find it. Yeah, I don't know.
And they got into the department.
Right.
So they enforced it from inside of the department to keep $1 million. So they're running the rack. The county's really essentially running the rack here to keep it. It's very hard.
Welcome to my birthday. It's a big deal to finally be able to turn 21 and drink in the States. My last 3-4 birthdays, I told everyone I was turning 35. And that's not because I'm a fan of mendacity. Simply, I appreciate Oscar Wilde's beautiful lines. 35 is a wonderful age to be. A great many women in London society have been 35 for some years now. So, he's also in the He's born February 2nd, I believe, actually. Oscar Wilde, so his birthday too. February 2nd is also my uncle's birthday. Shout out to Uncle Baltazar Shadow Precious down in San Diego. We've never met, but he's a year older than me, so we're more like brothers from afar. I was going to message everyone I knew the link to watch, but fate befell me. Late night Hobbit Hole check-in had me just running up and down the property, like, while doing everything. And that was fun. Thanks for being here. I am stretched on your grave and will lie there forever. With your hands held in mine, I am sure we'd not sever. Oh, the apple tree, my brightness, it's time we were together. I am stretched o'er the earth and am slain by the weather. The priests and the friars behold me in dread, because I still love you, my love, and you're dead. and the angels do that way. The song of Adam, the song of Eve, composed in heaven while the devil breathes. It's whispered in the wind, you know, and written in the stars of old. Heard from every through priest, called the streets of Donegal, in the streets of Donegal. An old man came to see me. There was whiskey on his breath. The priest of Donegal came cursed with life or death. I watched over the stories. The next day I away. Of Jesus, John, and Judas, and the very master grave. I think I know why we drink it. Life's too hard when you think of the troubles and the wars, the politicians who operate whores, who sell their souls for wine and bread, for profit margins and fashion trends. It's whispered in you know, written in the stars of old. Personally, from priest calls, Donegal, in the streets of Donegal. Maybe I know, king more far, maybe I know, king more story, maybe I know, king more vision, maybe I know, king more crown. Drunken priest married me to my love, secretly on her father never knew a thing of her till he found her wedding ring. Oh Jesus, how I love you so, you killed the other God, you know, murder for your please soul. Donegal, in the streets of Donegal. We make our best to stay alive, cause when it's fate, it's then we'll die. I want to hide here in the west, in Donegal, where my heart's at rest. It's here we sit in these pubs each night, oh, we play our music just to fight it. I feel the evil and the war and tell the lies that we need more. It's whispered in the wind, you know, written in the stars of old. Every girl brings come, Donegal, in the streets of Donegal, in the streets of Donegal. So that song came about because there's these stories of these discalced Irish Catholic priests who lost their churches in Ireland when the Protestants did that thing for 800 years, and they became sort of reputed mystics, mainly because they were living in Ireland. It's part of the same tectonic plate as Scotland, and a mythology that's very different. But you'll have stories like one day the drunken priest came into the bar and said to the wee boy, he said, "You see that bottle of whiskey? I'll give you the whiskey. Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, if you don't give me that whiskey right now, you won't see it at all tomorrow." And the boy wakes up the next day blind. And then the drunken priest, returns and says to the boy, "How's it going?" And the boy's like, "Oh, Father, I can't see a thing. Please cure my eyesight." "Well, if I do, will you give me that bottle of whiskey?" "Oh, yes, Father, I will so." There's also amazing stories of them healing people and doing other miracles, but they're strange characters and very hard to find this little bit of mythology. And my Irish teacher buddy introduced it to me and showed me these rare glimpses of this culture that was probably quite pervasive in that part of the country. So I wrote that based on it to help it not die out. Those funny stories. Once I was waiting in Galway to go to the pub with my mates, and he's a musician, so he instinctively goes for the side door. Good to see you, Larry. Tim kindly brought some wine, so if you guys want a little drop. Hey there. Perfect. Thank you. So I was sitting outside a bookstore waiting for my friends to get me to the pub in Galway, reading an Irish music magazine. And after an hour, I just, in a text, I got back, oh yeah, we're heading up now. Another hour, I was like, okay, what the hell's going on? And they didn't respond. I waited another hour, I wrote them, I'm like, where are you? I thought we were going to the pub. Like, sure, we're down at the pub right now. I'm like, the pub we're going to? They're like, no, we're at another pub. Sure, it's nearby, but it's all the same, right? I'm like, well, where are you? Are you meeting me? I'm still waiting. And they're like, yeah, just call down to the pub. I'm like, I don't know where it is. That's why you're meeting me at the bookstore. I'm like, right, you can. So, okay, just meet us at the normal pub. I'm like, hell, and it all worked out in the end. I'm sure I don't really remember the rest of the night, but during those 4 hours of waiting and learning my lesson the hard way about what they mean by Irish time, on the back of that Irish music magazine, I wrote this song. It's called Hermes Walk, or in Gaelic, Tashe go Holland, which means it is beautiful. Got wings on my feet, don't let me touch ground. The wind around, the wind makes a ghostly sound. I never needed much from the day I first breathed. But now I need your touch. There's love in the forest where I played as a child. In Canada, floating yet wild, the train from heaven, our souls are torn, and in this battleground we're born. And don't know the sorrows of our fear. Keep me out my sins. I'm walking on the round of sand. Hurry to me, your wings for flight. Touch it, touch it, touch it, honey. Touch it, touch it, just touch it, honey. Touch it, touch it, touch it. Sing me sweet honey, don't break our hearts, but not our smiles. Turn my sword into your bow. And I'm sailing on, and on the winds. Spirits keep me above my sins. I'm walking on to face of light. There is gift to me, your wings for life. Desperate we live and hopeful we die. Here's some lover's arms I will leave my last night. We cry from our first breath, we cry all our lives. Jesus Christ turned my tears into wine. And I'm sailing on, and on the winds of flight. There is gift to me, your wings for flight. Touch it, touch it, loving. Touch it, touch it, touch it, loving. Touch going, I'm sure we'll be. Oh, touch it, touch it, touch it, darling. Touch it, she's calling. Touch it, touch it. Time is gone as we walk upon the winds. Cheers. I probably should put that down a key. I wrote that back before I smoked. wrote this after I got divorced. Enough said, right? Well, the time is gone again, and the time is gone again, and I wanna see you there holding hands. You want no long, I just can't pretend. The time is gone again, and the time is gone again, and the leaves they fall down from the trees. As you walk along, I just can't find peace. The time is gone again, and the time is gone again. What you meant to me, what you meant to me, what you meant to me, my love, what you meant to me. Yeah, me this one mistake now, so how we let go when we get the start. The time is gone again, and the time is gone again. In the future when we look back and see these things with you when we were happy, and the time is gone again. Oh, the time is gone again. Oh, free, more trouble. What you meant to me, what you meant to me, oh, what you meant to me, I love you, what you meant to me. Cheers. I love these songs. I've been taking a while. They're originally off my 2008 album, The Broken Priest, which I wrote recently. I wrote throughout 3 years after a year or so of leaving seminary. I thought my former professors and bishops would get a kick out of it. No, it's from the myth about Donegal, of course, that I told you. That song, even though it's a divorce song, which, when I write songs about traumatic things, I actually usually write them from the perspective of the other person, because in a traumatic experience or breaking of any sort, I actually spend way more time wondering my own thing, because I know my own thing. I want to know what I missed. So, yeah. So we got a couple of friends of mine, new friends of mine. I've been going to Katati with the help of other people who live here and help me out. Thor, Dan, Patty, you all know him here. And I met a couple musicians. We got, I think, some harp, some fiddle, some banjo here. So once I finish, abusing you with my original songs, we're gonna just jam and you can dance and drink and make merry. All these songs are on Spotify and iTunes, though I stopped. Musicians stop getting otherwise until you get 1,000 people following you. So it's a sneaky little thing, but it did push me back into the academic side of my life, which led me here. So, amen. I wrote this during a heat wave in Galway. I'm praying for rain now, my love. Praying for rain when you're gone. Praying for rain once again. Praying for rain. Tell me, what did you think on that day when we had our first chat at the cafe? Could you predict the night lying here? Did you know you would love me, my dear? And I'm praying for rain now, my love. Praying for rain when you're gone. I'm praying for rain once again. I'm praying for rain. Tell me, it was easy. The next day when we had just danced the night away, and you see me smile, standing there holding you close to me. Our bodies fell, but I'm praying for rain now, my love. I'm praying for rain when you're gone. I'm praying for rain once again. Yeah, I'm praying for rain. House on the sea, wondering most that I feel outside. When I think of that happy wedding at our first drink, and I'm praying for rain now, my love. I'm praying for rain when you're gone. I'm praying for rain once again, and I'm praying for rain. Yeah, I'm praying for rain now, my praying for rain once again. We're praying for rain. That was the first song I wrote on the guitar. So I knew 2 chords on the guitar, and I wrote that during that heat wave in a bar, because everything in Ireland happens in a bar. To be fair, that bar had a library of like 10,000 literature and philosophy books just stacked in every place you could imagine. So like that's the Irish for you, right? They're going to get drunk on lots of words in the process. I went to Ireland to do a PhD and ended up joining a band, so these songs are mostly about that. The vibe, at least. This is called Rambles at Night. Oh, how my love come tonight, dressed in his finest clothes, out to meet another love in a moonlit foray. This song of love and lost was not sing anymore. No pleasure is worth the cost. Well, I'm landing and walking across the emerald sky. I am seeking for beauty and I'm set free of life. My heart's lost space, it's past, and here I stream within a dream. Will I be freed at last? When Johnny Gorman sings red song, he comes us to red off. The joy of you, the pain of age, all innocence must fall. Well, I'm rambling and rolling across the emerald sky. I am seeking for beauty and I'm set free of lies. When night sits her lonesome perch, well, I walk all the way from the house where my love lives, and I'll come on my way. Oh, children of the night and the moon, you lovers of the road, if you have lost the one you love, recall that new love grows. Well, I'm rambling and rolling across the emerald sky. I see her beauty. Well, I'm rambling and rolling like set free of lies. Thank you. So I wrote the first half of the song in Galway when I was walking to the cinema. On Fridays, I would treat myself, go to the cinema. That's how you got to do in the beginning. This was the first year that began 12 years of playing full time. So yeah, the first 3 years, no one really wanted to hear me after the once. More like first 5 years. So I wrote the first half of that there. The second half I wrote in Amsterdam on tour a few weeks later. There's a longer story to that. Maybe next birthday. For the big 4-0. I'm going to be here for 4-0, yeah, so please come back. Anyway, here's that song, Playing in Purgatory. For the sake of rhyme and meter, Lucifer's called Lucy, and Lilith's called Lil. I'm playing down in country with the devil on my back. He wants to catch you right there, and he don't want you to relax. I play the power loud, the plays the low. I'm playing down purgatory, there's a chance to see it go. I met a woman on the bridge, she said her name was Bill. She took me up by the hand, we kissed and I until. She had that girl Lucy, yeah, danced to the tune. As I played one pin in the tree, beneath the hollow moon. He wants to catch you right there, and he don't want to come back. I play the bell loudly, I'm playing down the tree, who's dancing to the drum. Europe's more lucrative. Cities are closer together. Cowbell. So we had a cowbell. It cost $28 for that, which is a free download online. That was good times. It was during a hailstorm. Jethro Tull and the Young Dubliners both got stuck at Chicago O'Hare Airport the night we did that live in Chicago in 2000. Yeah. Then Dan over there took me to see the Young Dubliners in some place up north. Cloverdale. That was very cool. I was like, we played in Chicago that night, you were snowed in with Jethro Tull. He's like, oh shit. And she always said, well, the thing is, I hope I can do what I want there. I'm like, Grandma, what do you mean, like, do what you want in heaven? Presumably if you're going to heaven, it's because, you exercise some restraint here and there. And she's like, well, I miss smoking. I was like, I didn't know you ever smoke. She's like, millionaire West Vancouver woman. Yeah, like a chimney. And I was like, that's what you hope heaven has for you in store? She's like, yes, and I'd like to get the diocesan newsletter for her Anglican church, which she garnered for Cullen in the Norse Irish mythology and his journey into the underworld and the land of shadows, and wrote this song for her. And I was going to play it. I wrote it, and so I played it at the funeral for the first time, and then wrapped up the album with it. But that was crazy. She told me this story, wrote the song, and then I was like, I'm coming. My sister told me, I was like, whoa. So here's a Land of Shadows. I know how you led me down a path into a darkening land. I asked him, why is this? I'm so to know boy, this is the shadow land. People put a glass of wine. The single in your hair, I sometimes smell this girl because I came to you in my ear, the words that you regret each day since coming here, baby, you still love me. I will wait, but now you leave and go back to that day you'll be my land of shadow. Through its glory, my love, no, I can't go with you, my love. I need us, but just we lay there in bed. You held my darling body, I held your darling hand, and I awoke in this darling room. I want to sell you here. I want, but here I lie in my shadow land. Whirl and bash into people, yeah. But I'm glad you're so spellbound. I'll do a couple more then. Yeah. All right. Larry, so glad you came, man. Thanks for coming. It's not easy to make new friends in a new country, and it's nice that there's some solid musicians around who get my vibe. Thank you, guys. There was a song I wrote not on the Drunken Priest album, which I've been playing. I played last year in my birthday. I did this private nightclub in Berlin, and the same sort of thing because it's like the 20-year anniversary of that 2008, 2009 album. And so I'm still in the round of those songs, and I look forward to moving into new ones. Here's one that I haven't recorded. I have played it a bunch and tried to record it, but it's tricky. It's actually about my dad, but my bandmates always say it's about a girl. No one wants to get into that shit, you know? But I think you guys can handle it. So this one's about my dad. All right. I want to stand up, but my guitar strap and some other accoutrements are not here. This is called The Gloaming. Oh, why never look at me the way I look at. Can you feel my pain? It's my deepest stand for the shadows of the numbness looking like me. And I know that will get what I need. to the things I need. Don't you want some more? Don't you want some more before the fight ends? In this stormy night, in this gloomy light, as the lightning bright, twist our hearts apart. In the house, you are mine. You are mine. You are mine. You are mine. When time clouds break at my door through the night, and I am bold, transport me to some strange place. I wanna dance all night, still can't lay still. Oh, red top town and Goblin town now. Oh, empty your wine, I drink on dine outside the sushi all the time. Yeah. So they're gonna party down in Goblin town, gonna drink off of the wood. So proud. When life is dreary and you're blue, a little monster love you can get you through. You'll awake with one big drink from your Goblin valley. Singing, oh hey. Well, don't go home, you'll be all alone. 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 Don't have to dance, don't play and sing. Remember when you're going with a Goblin sing, all right, yeah. Oh, whoa, whoa, great dance. Come party down in Goblin town, gonna drink on the boogie down, wanna dance all night. Goblin town, everybody you know, so much down, but yeah. What are these strange places here go chance to this? I hope they all want to be back home in my own bed, but stay here on the dance till I'm dead. Party down, we Goblin town, we're gonna drink on the boogie down, wanna go night in Goblin town, everybody you know, slow down. Somebody down in Goblin town, wanna drink on the boogie down, wanna dance all night, Goblin town, everybody you know, slow down, yeah. Well, it's only 12 o'clock yet, no, it's not quite time to rock it. It's not quite 12 o'clock yet, baby, there's lots of time to rock it. It's not quite 12 o'clock yet, lots of time to rock it. It's not quite 12 o'clock yet, baby, there's lots of time to rock. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Archpriest Marissa Victory, a.k.a. the Fantabulous Granny Rainbow. Lady, you keep me sane. But just so you know, did you know you wrote a reminder for yourself about the show on a post-it note? Left it here with your hat. Classic Marissa. We love you.
Yeah, it's in my picture.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more. That's it, and then we'll take a break, and then we're gonna jam. Because I want to play some harp and fiddle. I can't pronounce it right because it's actually like Old Irish, and the rules are totally different. So I have no idea how this ancient Druid pronounced his name. On the road to keep him safe, and then these robbers beat him up and take everything he has and leave him for dead, as happens when you buy a charm from a woman on the road in Ireland. They sell you their charm, but they take your horse and cart as well. And the Reverend's daughter finds him, which is, of course, a controversial line, because that means everyone's Catholic, right? So if the Reverend's daughter finds you, like, Jesus, you've basically been woken up in hell. But he sees her in the firelight as she feeds him boiled seaweed, which is what they do, and falls in love with her. Then her brothers come home and take him to the forest and kill him. Like I always say at Irish pubs, we're going to play a bunch of songs about war and death, and then we'll play some happy songs about lost love and torture. I'm sure the connection's like spotty enough just to drive them mad, which is totally my goal on my birthday.
I went up to the hazel wood, because the fire was in my head. I went up to the hazel wood, to find a place where I lay dead. She led me to the hazel wood, hear a word of what she said. I went out to the hazel wood, to find a place to be on bed. Oh, I set out on the road one day from my father's house home. 100,000 dollars round the road. I never rode and on the road. She spoke to me a copper crown. Floating on around my neck to save me from all harm. I went out to the hazelwood, but the fire was in my head. I went out to the hazelwood to find a place where I lay dead. She led me to the hazelwood to hear the words of what she said. I went out to the hazelwood to find a place to be on bed. Oh, Robert, and all my consciousness. So there I out in the rain, and by myself a wood. Fire was in my head. Went out to the hazelwood, find a place where I lay dead. I went to the hazelwood, to hear a word of she said. Went out to the hazelwood, to find a place where I lay dead. Oh, the story of she woke me and she wrapped my head, she fed me seaweed from the shore. I didn't find her, I saw her eyes, never had love more. I asked her if she'd be my love, and come with me to Dummy House. The brothers heard and took me off, till I would fall. Went out to the hazelwood, because the fire was in my head. Went out to the hazelwood, find a place where I lay down. To the hazelwood, hear your words of love, she said. Well, after story, all the swings, and there I dreamed of her fair. The last breath that had left my lungs, I never would see her there. But in the dream, she took me out to the place where now I lie. Invested her love and laid me down, heard my heart inside. To the hazelwood, find a place to be our bed. Let me to the hazelwood,
Thank you for letting us do this. You in the back there, Willow? First time I called you that. Thank you very much. An officer and a gentleman.
Well, you're the one who was on the talent. All we did was go out on stage. And then, like, well,
I'm sure he has a mighty talent.
no, you're the talent once next month's your birthday.
Thank you. That's not what I meant. I was being fully Shakespearean.
The spotlight's on you.
But the spotlight is. Well, let's take a little breaky poo, and I got chairs up here, so we're just gonna circle them around and play a bunch of tunes and jam and Irish dance music. We're gonna play Irish dance music. I got my bagpipes over there. That's my favorite thing to do, and so it's my birthday. You should. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Huh? Good to see you.